Hello everyone, that was Man of Constant Sorrow in the key of D. And I've been thinking a little while about giving a little backup lesson in the key of D. Playing the D chord, playing the G chord, and playing the A chord. And I thought, you know, Man of Constant Sorrow is a great song, and Dan Tyminski, when he sang it on that famous Oh Brother Where Art Thou album, he sang it, he was actually singing in the key of F, but Ron Block was playing in the key of D, capo'd up 3. So I don't sing as high as Dan Tyminski, so I'm just playing it open D here. And I'm playing it with the 5th string spiked, so that it's an A note. So unlike when we leave it open, it's a G. I've got it spiked at the 2nd fret here, or at the 7th fret, and it's an A. Okay, so that's got that A. Now I just love the sound of that D roll. It just has a real growl and a bark, a neat sound. So here's that forward roll in D. Okay, and so Man of Constant Sorrow, we're just playing a few measures in D. Then we move to the 4 chord, which is a G, and we play a few measures in G. And then we move to the 5 chord, and we play a few measures in the 5 chord, which is an A. And it's really a very basic roll pattern, but I think it sounds really cool. And there's a few different variations on the rolls that you can do, and I'm just going to walk through them. It really shouldn't take long. But this applies to any rolling backup in the key of D. So a lot of songs are just going to be that 1, 4, and 5 chords. So the D, the G, and the A chord. They might not always be in that order, but Man of Constant Sorrow, it goes a couple measures of 1, couple measures of 4, couple measures of 5, and then it kind of does a repeat. And then when it goes to the chorus, it goes back to the 5 chord. So let's just walk through the song from the beginning to the end. So I'm kind of breaking it up into 2-measure roll patterns. So here's what the first 2 measures sound like. Okay, and you'll see the tablature down below, but one more time, that's... And what's really cool about that roll is you're hitting that D note, that open D, that low. And notice how you just play it that one time, but then it keeps ringing. You play that low D that one time, but it's ringing as you keep playing then a forward roll, not hitting that low D string again, but playing a forward roll. Right? So you're actually rolling across the 5th string, the 3rd string, and the 1st string, not hitting that 4th string, that low D, and that's why that D just keeps ringing. And then we repeat it, right? We're going right back, hitting that low D again. So it's actually two measure patterns here. So it's... And now we're going into the 4 chord, which is a G. So... Okay, so when we go into that G, it's really just a forward roll. I'm keeping my ring finger on that 4th fret. And I just hit that little slide, that 4-5 slide. Okay, and so that completed it. There was that little walk up from the 4 chord into the 5 chord. Okay, so one more time, that 4 chord is going to sound like this. Okay, and so all together, the 4 measures in the 1 chord, and then the 2 measures in the 4 chord and the 2 measures in the 5 chord are going to sound like this. Okay, and then we're going to repeat. So you might have noticed when we went up into the 5 chord, though, it was just a little walk up. And that's a hammer on. I'm hammering it on from the 1st fret to the 2nd fret, which is an A note there. And then I'm just, you can see I've got my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. That would be the G string. And so that's, and then that hammer on. Okay, so. And then I'm getting that little 3/4 slide on the way back down. Okay, and then we're just going to keep repeating. So I kind of would go like this. If you were singing along, it would be, I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where he was born and raised. Or I suppose it's the place where I was born and raised, not the place where he was born and raised. But you get the idea. You might have noticed when I was trying to sing it along, I couldn't really do, I noticed that I didn't really do that little syncopated walk-up. Instead, I just kept playing in the G, an open G roll. And then I just resolved. So I just played that open G roll, and then when I'm playing and singing, I just found that syncopation a little bit harder. So that's the basic idea, and then you just go back through it again. One thing I will say is when you do the repeat, I mean, there's a few different ways that you can play this roll. This open D roll is kind of the most important roll because you're playing in D's for so many measures of this song. So I'm hammering on 3 to 4 there on the D string. That's one way to do it. It's really just a forward roll, and then it's a forward reverse roll. So one more time, there's that D string. Okay, but a lot of times what I like to do is when, instead of just playing the same thing over and over, you might try a variation. Try this variation. You hear that? So the second time I played. And that was just two times on that D string. And it changes it a little. It's a slightly different rhythm, and you'll hear that a lot from great banjo players when they play in D. I hear them throw that little change in rhythm up really quite frequently. Okay, so really that's about it for the lesson. I mean, it's just learning those roll patterns in D. It's that forward reverse roll. It's a forward roll through the first measure, and then it's a forward reverse in the second measure. Or it's that alternate roll, which is that. Another thing you might want to think about is when you're playing in D, another variation that you can play is just hammering on the A string here. So there, it's just a slightly different version. Instead of hitting that open D to start the roll, instead of doing that, you're starting on you're hammering on the A string or on the G string there. And that's actually pretty much what the melody of the song would be. So if you're trying to play the melody, you might play it more like that. But that's another variation that can be useful. Another variation on that 5 chord, you might play a couple hammer-ons, that same style. So on the 5 chord, we're playing again, that middle finger is on the 2nd fret, the ring finger is on the is on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And so you could play that 2 different ways. You could play it with that hammer on twice, like I just did. Or you could just play it hammer on once. All right, and that's really it for this lesson. I guess the last thing that I should add is I did play a lick. I played a lick at the end. Once I played it all the way through, I played a lick. So let me show you how to play that lick, and then we'll end the lesson. So after we went up to the chorus, it went like this. Okay, so let me show you that lick one more time. It's 1 measure of D. And that's just a fun lick. It's a classic D lick, a real kind of nasty D lick. It's just got that great sound. And it's got some syncopation in there, right? You'll notice. There's some real syncopation before you get that hammer on from the 1st to the 2nd fret there. So that's Man of Constant Sorrow in the key of D. And of course, if you want to capo it up 2 frets or 3 frets to the key of F, that's where Dan Tyminski sings it. 2 frets would be the key of E. But find a good spot where you can sing it. For me, it's a little more comfortable down in the key of D because I don't have that high tenor like Dan Tyminski. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson and apply some of these key of D roll techniques to any song that you're playing in the key of D. This is great first position backup in the key of D. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.